Hello there everyone, and welcome to another edition of Lydia's Crafty Corner with me, Lydia, in my little crafty corner. So today I'm going to be sharing with you how I've created these 3 rainbow citrus cards using a mix of stamp sets. So I've used the beautiful main squeeze stamp set. Also, I have used the Frosted Garden just to add in some leaves as well. So as I said, I'm using the main squeeze stamp set, and I'm going to show you how this lines up really easily. So first I'm going to start with the larger one, and I'm just going to add on the base layer. So this is the one with the most stampable area, and I'm just going to use some bamboo to stamp this with. So I'm just going to ink this up really well, and then I'm just going to pop it back onto place, onto my cardstock, and give it a good firm squeeze down so to make sure all of that ink has transferred well. I'm then going to take the second layer, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up these little pips, so the bits that don't actually stamp, this is what I'm going to be lining up, and then going to line up the outside edge so that all of the lovely fleshy bits are within each other. I'm then going to ink this part up using the Parrot ink, making sure it's all nicely distributed, and then stamp this back into place over the first layer that we've just done. I'm then going to take the third layer. So I'm going to be lining up these little pips and popping them into place to make sure that that's where they're not going to stamp. Again, make sure all the fleshy bits are within the outline of the last ones. And I'm then going to ink this one up using the olive ink for this layer. So I've just added the ink on and stamped this into place, and you can see how well that looks right now as well. You could leave it there if you wanted to. I'm then going to take the fourth layer. Again, I'm lining up those little pips, making sure that the flesh is within the flesh of before, and I'm going to ink this using the moss ink. So all of these inks are in the same colour families, which makes it really easy to layer these up and create a really great effect. I'm then going to move on to the smaller images. I did stamp the larger ones in the same way, and I'm just going to use the different colours to make the different rainbow citrus. So for the pinks, I'm going to be using Frosty Pink for the base layer. For the yellows, I'm using Citrus Burst, and for the orange, I'm then going to use Sunkissed as well. So I'm then going to lay on the second layer. So for the orange, I'm going to be using the beautiful orange cream. How could I not when it is actually an orange? So I'm going to be using the orange cream for the second layer of the orange. I'm then going to be using the beautiful cotton candy for the second layer of my pink grapefruit that I've created here, and some fresh lemon ink for the second layer of my lemon. Again, how could I not use this colour when it's actually a lemon? I'm then going to move on to the third layers of each. Again, I'm lining these up like I did the one before, so the larger one, these line up in exactly the same way. And for the orange, I am going to be using the Autumn Blaze for the third layer. I'm just going to ink that up and pop that into place and then create a beautiful orange. You could again leave it at this if you wanted to. So for the third layer of my pink grapefruit, I'm then going to use some coral berry. And then for the third layer of my lemon, I am using some maple yellow. I'm then going to move on to the fourth layers of each. So for the fourth layer, I'm going to be using Firebrick for my orange. And I'm going to be using the red ruby red even, for my pink grapefruit. And for the fourth layer of the lemon, I'm going to be using some of that honey drizzle ink. So once I have all of these stamped, I'm then going to use some leaves, and I'm going to use the Frosted Garden. And I'm just going to take one of the leaves from here, and I'm going to create a different kind of look with these. So I'm going to use the Lagoon, and I'm just going to add some of that ink just to the base of these leaves. I'm then going to take a little finger dauber, and I'm going to just gently blend out those edges a little. So I'm kind of dabbing it down so I don't have one of those harsh edges. And I just want a kind of a blended effect there. I'm then going to take some Volcano Lake ink and cover the whole of the image, and then stamp that directly over the one that I've just stamped, and that's going to give me a great effect with the leaves. As you can see, I stamped my images many times to create lots of beautiful rainbow fruits and beautiful leaves as well. So once I've completed all the ones that I wanted to stamp up, I'm then going to cut these out using the coordinating dies. So as you can see, I've just cut my cardstock down a little bit so it'll fit through my little mini blossom. I'm taking the coordinating dies for the citrus and the little leaves, and I'm just going to run these through my machine to create beautiful coloured die cuts. And here are all my rainbow coloured die cuts. So as you can see, the leaves I kind of did in a bluey colour just to give me more of a rainbow effect. I'm then going to take all of the sentiments from the main squeeze stamp set and popping them into place on a piece of black cardstock. Then I'm going to close the lid of my Misty and then ink these up using some of the embossing ink from Altenew. As you can see, my black cardstock is a little bit white. Reason being, I popped some baby powder down on there so my embossing powder doesn't stick where I don't want it to. I'm then going to take my embossing powder. This is the pure white embossing powder from Altenew, my favourite embossing powder. So I'm just going to pop that all over my sticky words and I'm going to heat set it to give me a really great sentiment. I'm then going to chop them all up so I have lots of sentiment strips and then I can play around. I did want to create a little bit more of effect with my little fruits, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some of these down halfway through the middle to create kind of little slices there. So I'm going to play around with these images to create a couple of cards. I did have some left over, so I have some more for future projects, but as you can see, I'm kind of laying them at the bottom of my card. Once I'm happy with the layout, I'm then going to take a second card base and I'm going to stick these down into place on this one. So as you can see, I'm just moving them over from the first one just to get the right idea of where they're going to go. I'm using some Altenew tape pen just to stick them down, and I'm then going to add in some of those leaves as well just to give me a more of a rainbow feel to my cards. As you can see, I'm turning my card over to snip off the excess and this gives a really clean finish. For the sentiment, I did choose one and then I popped it onto a little bit of striped black cardstock from the Essentials Black and White cardstock pack. Once I finished the first card, I moved on to my second. Again, I've added some black and white striped cardstock from the Essentials Black and White cardstock pack. And I'm going to add my little citrus fruits in more of a rainbow order in this one. So I've gone with my little pink grapefruit, my orange, my lemon, and then my lime. And I added a couple of little leaves and a sentiment I've added on with some foam tape. For my third card, I've gone with that beautiful striped black and white paper. I attached my sentiment on top of it using some glue tape, and then I'm going to arrange my fruits so they're above and below my sentiment. Again, I'm using my Altenew tape pen. This is a really, really great glue and it is one of my favorites and I keep going back to it again and again. Once I've got my fruits in place, I'm then going to take a couple of the leaves and I'm just going to add these in. I do add them in kind of a triangle fashion. I do find that the eye likes it better that way if you do add in odds that way. And then just added on my sentiment and then all of my cards are complete. I really do love how bright and vibrant all the cards are. They are some of my favorites that I've created in quite a little while. I just think that they make you smile and they're very bright and vibrant, and really I'm really wishing for summer right now. So I really do hope that you've enjoyed the video and that you've enjoyed the layering part of the video as well. I do hope that this helps if you do have this set. If you do want to watch any more videos right now, there are a couple more here for you to watch at your own leisure. If you don't want to miss out on any videos that we do upload to the channel, it would be great if you do subscribe. Again, everyone, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you again really, really soon. Bye-bye.